Terrific. We are going to hop over to discussions. I'm watching our time, and we certainly get in everything really important to you, so go over to 31. Another verbal response is discussions. And you remember point 82 was Hattie's effect size on discussions. Given that, we really want to optimize discussions to use in our school sites. And if we look at this, there is some emerging very good research on how to improve it. So, following along here, number one is having a useful question. So I was teaching middle school social studies, and we had been reading about Andrew Jackson. So the question I gave was, and read it with me, everyone. Our seventh president, Andrew Jackson, in his election campaign, called himself the president of the common man. Do you agree or disagree that Jackson was the president of the common man? Please plan your argument using evidence from the chapters. Pretty compelling, because it could be argued that yes, he was, because he came from not from wealth but from poverty, so that he was more related to the common man. On the other hand, he owned 150 slaves, which would prove that he wasn't for at least all of common man. And the students had a good question, but this is the one that made the most difference, is that if the students have to write down their talking points for a discussion, they're much more likely to share that within the discussion, giving them time to write down talking points and notes for it. And then, going one step further, as did the work of Doug Fisher and Nancy Frey, suggested that you have the students always share with their partner their talking points. So even if they aren't included in the discussion, they have been included in the discussion because they have planned and shared their talking points. And then having them discuss it, but do it with a small group. None of us have discussions with 30 people. We have discussions maybe with one other, but maybe we go out to dinner and there are 6 of us and we have a discussion, or we have a book club and we have 10 members, but we don't have 30 members. And so it's much better to go into small groups. When we do these small groups, and would this group stand up right here and stand over here? I'm going to move this one forward, folks. Okay. You're fine. We'll just, come on, Lisa. Okay, so, and sort of be on this one right here. Okay, down, and make a circle. Okay, so the kids could stand or they could be at their chairs. And so what I would tell them is, now they all have their talking points. And I will point out, so we're going to all, and we have 4 other groups in the room, we're going to start, anybody in the position of Lisa's going to start, and she's going to share what she believes is her position on this and the best way to support it. And then you're going to ask questions of her for clarification. At least 2 questions. Then we're going to move to the next person. You're going to share yours and your talking points, and then we'll have clarification. So everybody is, by just the structure of this, included. It's sort of following the research on rounds. Now, the only problem we've had is, again, lack of equity in terms of the people asking clarifying questions. Because Mike is in this group, she always asks those questions, always asks those questions. So we now have some kind of coins in the middle of the table, and everybody takes 2. And they have to get rid of those coins by the end of the discussion by asking questions. So Maya, yours are gone, like right away, and you're done, and so other people are going to have to ask questions. But this kind of structure ends up with very rich discussions. Everybody's thought about it, everybody has planned it, everybody shared it with their partner, then they came and they're sharing it here in a very viable way, and the teacher is moving from group to group to group, following up with what they're saying, watching the amount of time, watching the depth of their discussion. Thank you very much. Okay, so is it possible that some of the discussions in our class don't have that kind of structure? Is that possible? Because, you know, I hear things like, well, let's discuss that character in our book. And then me and Maya can right? And then we have 3 people who discuss it, and then we say, good, see you tomorrow. We have got to add more structure to this so we get the real value. One study that was done under Sharon Vaughn at a research group at University of Texas, Austin, found that many kids did not know how to enter a discussion. That they had heard arguments at home, but not discussions. Certainly our politicians have not added to this knowledge in the last few years. So what they did is they gave the students sentence starters for discussion. And they actually posted, this came directly from that study. So they're in a circle, and well, I really agree with Liz. And I also thought this, or I really disagree with Liz for this reason. Now, another person who does this is Kate Kinsella, who's at University of San Francisco. And she, in middle school and high school she works with, often will have the children generate civil ways to agree and civil ways to disagree, and post this again so that students have a structure of the language that they could use. Okay, well, looking at our time, for the amount of people who've been taking short unauthorized breaks, it appears to me that I probably should have given you like woo-woo a break. And it's kind of dangerous because we only have till noon, but I'm going to give you 5 minutes to stretch. Be back in your seat. I'll expect all of you back.